Hello, this is Gerald Toa van Was. In this video I will explain the I letter combinations that you can find also in the hiragana letters, which are combinations of vowels with consonants. The I letter is maybe for me the most easy one to explain as I bring them in combination with other consonants and how they are expressed in the hiragana script, and this script can help you to understand also how combinations with E are meaningful. And I will tell you how this works, why it works, that's another chapter, but how it can work as a logic that you can remember it, that you can recognize it, and can understand also that there is a deliberate focus that is made with these combinations. That should be clear after this video. And the basic theory for me is based upon the Pythagorean order of letters of the Roman letters. And the Roman letters have all positions that can be derived to three sorts of focuses: one before you in space in one focus, or in confrontation and in a timing schedule, that where you have the e and the o, the e as the starting point of time and the o as the moment that you can find. There is then the placement, of course, in space, in the physical world, let's say. And what is lying in the background, what is playing in the background, the generalizations, the environmental conditions, I mean the very general conditions that are also not very predictable. They are all related in the third category in the background, with which the vowel E is associated at most. So basically the vocals are a generalization of one of these areas. And in this video I will focus on the last category, the conclusive category, the E, which actually says, okay, I have something that plays along in the background and I will make it dominant, that I do something with that. And here are the positions of the E. The E, in a way, there are the focus of A was just one direct focus without much interference. The E and the A were with balance seeking, changes in time and so on. The E is lying in the background, so it has actually, it's like having three kinds of focuses. It's like this balance of focuses. It's everywhere and it is somewhat imbalanced. That number three, for a reason, is important, and that's how it is presented and how it can be presented well. And the while the Roman letters on its own are very much all around us as focuses, we pinpoint them, we pick them out, and we make combinations that work so that we find a balance. And that's what the words are about. They are about a balance. It's like hearing a balance in a way, seeing a balance, recognizing a balance. It's a lot about how our brains work to make an order in not in the chaos, in what can be ordered, and how does this order work. It works in an order of three, and the whole picture of all the letters are also all about the number three. So you have something in the middle, a bit further, and a side that you can have as one focus or as two focuses. Where something changes. Okay, three. When you count all the kind of possibilities, you have all the letters in the end, and then you can pinpoint them to three kinds of positions. So we now are talking about the last category, which deals with the let's say the triple focus, where we deal with the balance that is playing with it, so we don't realize maybe all the exact positions like we have them in A with an exact point. We also don't deal with a beginning and an ending. No, we don't really know where something starts, where something ends, but it takes part in the background. That's why beginning, end, middle, all of these categories are somewhat in balance. We're looking for a balance with E. The categories of all the Chinese and Japanese scripts are related with timing, so they are in that green area, and there we have the letter E expressed in the Japanese hiragana script. It's very much fitting with the idea of the Roman letter of E, what it means, where it comes from, how it is used, and so on. It's in two parts, and you can basically say it's that insertion of a good idea, because E is about new ideas. I have an insertion of a new idea. It's something in the background. Everything is working and it's going on. There are the stable things in A. There are the changing things in A and O. But it also is something playing in the background, and I want to have that inserted, and it's a good idea because it will work. It will have that balance. I sense that there is a balance, that I can have that. So in a way it is a good idea of a new foundation. And this new foundation, what do we do with it? We engage it. So it's an insertion and an impulse that we want to change something, and we feel that we need to change it, we need to adapt it, we need to have it inserted somewhere, and that's the combination. It's that good idea combined with the engagement. Engage. And it's in this way, it's an engagement. As an implied engagement, we imply it immediately where it can fit. That's how you can understand the E, how you can understand this form, more or less, that we already have playing there. In the background there was always this forward move and one step back. It is that insertion also. With new ideas you have that as well. With insertion there is always a kind of adaptation when we move along with something new. Also here the adaptation has to be fit in. And of course with the combinations of the consonants we will know how a new idea, a good idea, can be implied. What will it always do? It will be, we can finalize this picture. So we have this in front of us, we have our vision, we have a vision of something that changes, we have the background vision, but in the end it should fit everywhere. That's the goal also for that E. It's that last part, so where you move towards somewhere else, and it's the same there. So the E, the new idea, can only work if it works from my position and from your position, from a new position, from any position. So it uses its idea to make it work, or that says it will work, because it has a general use. It's not just close by, and it follows the rules from what I think I know, because I see what I have here close by and I know what I have close by. No, also far away it should be applicable. It's not locally space bound as the A is. The A is locally. I know what I have locally, but I don't know what I have further away. With the E it should work everywhere. How do we find out if this is necessary? How it is necessary? Every vowel has a certain combination of possibilities with consonants. The first consonant that is always used in the hiragana script is the Ka, perfect, because Ka is the first letter in the Pythagorean order, which says we have a doubt here. So when, for instance, with the first three letters, you have the A, I know, I find the place, T, I find where the place is, and K is, shit, I have to see if I really focus on this place, because it's not very clear where this focus is. Do I really need this? Shall I continue with this? Do I have to change anything? K is this question. It is this question to see, is this really needed? It's not because you see it, it's useful, because you know it, because you think to understand it, that it's useful. Now you have to test it. It's the testing thing that which will always be in the Chinese and Japanese script. Roman script, no, we experiment, we do whatever we like, and we fail, and we will recover. We will recover. The Chinese and Japanese script are immediately, no, just check first if it is needed, if it is in balance, and if it is in balance with everything, and then you insert it. And that will be the question for K. That's what's playing in the background. You can't see it here, but the K is this breaking point. It's at the edge from where I am. And from there on, it's a bit less clear. It's a bit further away. If it is still clear, a bit further. If it's still the same after a while, and so on. So that's this K. This is breaking point where everything might change. That's where the timing processes begin, where the changes begin. K is that question. Shall it be able to continue itself when time goes by, for instance? So Ki, what will Ki do here? It will focus, of course, on this repetition. It is what is adding in top, what can be breaked through, what can be inserted and break through all the processes that are already running, and see if it can be reused. That's the more or less how you can understand it. I'm not sure if it is intended that way, but it's a way to understand it. And so Ki is actually saying the I, new idea, can break through, can be used, and can also be reused and can be used for further use. Then it is useful. So when do I need this new idea? When there is a new idea that can be reused, not just now because I have an idea. No, now, not only now, but also at some other time, all times. It's for all time's sake. It's for everybody. So when this general usage becomes visible, we can use Ki. Ki is then the key, the energy also to use everywhere and anywhere. The next question after K, the question is, shall we use it? Here it is, how is it needed actually? How shall we use it, and how is it needed, and how shall it perform? And it is expressed in general, the second letter is S. S is this sensitivity in the background. There is a moment when you sense something, I have to change some, I have to be aware of something. That's the S. Gives you a certain awareness of everything what is playing in the background, and which is automatically having actions and reactions and so on. It is not expressed as C. C is Spanish for yes. It doesn't simply say like, okay, it is there, so I do that. No, it's a bit more balanced, so it will use she, because it's all this whole script, the word of a script, which I will explain in some other video. The word of a script also is related with that spiritual idea. No, you have to have a balance. It's not just anything that you sense and you insert it. No, that doesn't work like that. It's not like you have the complete freedom and say, see, I will do because I like it. No, here it will be a little bit more confined into the not what is simply sensed. So that you can sense the need, but it could be your need, it could be someone else's need, it could be the need of the environment. No, you have to see, is it a viable need also? You sense the need, you have the need, it is a need, and then you insert a need as she. So insert it, and then because it should be, it is something that can be repeated, something that can be, can confirm also the viability. That's she is in that way a little bit more about dealing with the conditions, also dealing with the conditions that are viable, are livable, are, yeah, more useful in a way that it also feels good. It feels good for everybody. So here's the shi. Then we go to concrete points where I will sense this need for this adaptation, this insertion, and so on. And the next letter, always in the same order with these vowels, will be the T. T is the character, is the sound, is the very short sound. Oh no, but a very short sound. It is like the focus in space. Not a click sound that you really know how it is behaving in the environment. No, it's a position. It's not more than a positioning. So it is positioning something in space, positioning in a way also that you say, oh, now I know where it is. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, I know what I can use it for. That kind of thing is. So that's where the t is occurring. So we ask the question, where will we have the t? Where will we have the t? It's not about t, we're not going to have t in this case, but the t will occur, of course, with the foundation. And why shall we use it? Of course, it is also for the insertion that can happen not just at my place but also at some other place. So basically T is saying I have this point in space, but I also have this. It works like a moment in space, because when it is at a different moment, at a different timing, at a different space, it's still there, and it can still use there, and it's still useful there, so you can use it more often. So where is it occurring is the first question, and then the next question after space, also where it is occurring. You can also have to say, yeah, when, but when do we have it? We have the space first, then the timing next, and then the context at the end. So that's all the three next questions that we ask by combining it with the consonants. The next consonant is N, and this N is answering the question of when you can have it, when you can have it, when you can have it. Ni, ni in Dutch is actually, you don't have it, but actually it is also pointing the moment when you can have it, even if you can't have it. So there is always this question of yes and no, because you have the moment, one moment when you think, okay, here I have it, and at another moment, that's right, but it's in time, another moment you have it. Once you involve time, there are moments where it is and where it is not. It's not there all the time. Things don't exist all the time. They exist at some point, and when the conditions change, that something else happens, and so on. That's typical for time. Time is about changes. So with ni, we go to the areas, to the moment where the focus is needed. So the ni is also not just about not, but also about the need. The need, what we will need at some point. Will we need it? At what point will we need it? That's also a moment in time with conditions in time that are expressed with the letter N. It is about what N is about. N is the vertical in the timing, and the vertical in the timing says, okay, here is the highlight moment that is needed, because here everything comes together. That's basically the geometrical association of N. Just then the next question is, up the top level now again, so the background level again. So you have the, in a way, it's now the vertical in the background. The vertical is about, yeah, what is the highlighting pulses of the background of the H that you see there. The H is expressing what is viable, so that you can have these vibrations all the time that are playing in the background, and they are playful, so that you can have the highlight, the he of highlight, how it is productive. And of course, in the background, you have always in this script and the idea that you don't only have to take something with you and take it forward and move it along on the time process. No, we also have to adapt something. So that background thing, remember, that's always there. We move along with it. We see if it is indeed productive, and then we go along with it, and we can add it. So a new thing cannot be added simply because it's a new thing. No, it has to be productive. And how do we test it? In the background, we always have this. We move forward with it. We experience when it pulls back from gravity, from the action and reactions. We see if we come in balance. If we find the balance, then we know the point where the balance is found with that new thing, and then we can move forward with it. We can repeat it, and that's what he will be about. In that perspective, we know that it will be productive anywhere, simply because it produces this balance and the new place where it can also be. That's more or less what is behind it. And then the next three letters are always the combinations of, yeah, but where can I find it? They are the diagonals, so they are 3 times the So we have first, in a way, we are first the horizontals, then the verticals, then the diagonals. Here are the diagonals. There's a geometrical foundation behind these letters and letter combinations as well, but it's too complicated to speak about that too much. But I will have to mention it, that it is playing along. It is also about geometry. It's about focuses, and we find the balance. It's that way of balancing, and we have a way to behave along with these associations. Here we focus back on the space first. We're going to see to the results. What kind of results come out? The results that come out has to also be derived towards the new area. So what is produced after this transformation process that we have to deal with? When we will have it, and we can add new things. The only way when we can add new things with me, when we can see new things, is also because they should be relevant. Otherwise, we can't define them. We can only define them. It's like with hearing and seeing is the same thing. When we see something, we have to we pinpoint it first, then we recognize it, and then we also have the idea, okay, now we can use it. There's a certain order in that. I'm not sure if it's the perfect way to express it in this moment, but it is actually when you have the new things that you are discovered, the new things that are taken out, the new things that will be brought forward, will be shown to you. They can only be produced when they are indeed recognizable to be an addition into the system of finding a balance. It keeps that balance. It's not getting out of balance. It's finding that new balance there. And then the general thing. Okay, I say that there are 3 focuses, but we don't express the I, we only express ri. I've expressed that in my book, why some of the combinations are not there in the Japanese script, because they would make you doubtful. Here we are going towards certainties, so we don't need any goal of finding new things all the time. If we would do that in an experimental way, as we experiment with the Roman letters. No, the Japanese and Chinese scripts are about balance, and they want to keep that balance. So yi in the Japanese script is therefore not added. We'll not say much more about that. If you really want, I can explain it into detail why it is not expressed, or why it is preferred not to be expressed. But here we have ri as the functionality of finding I in reality. If you look very well, the I or the ri, it's a bit like a upside down. You find the way how it works. So you find the insertion that deals with that gravity point that you say, that's stepping back. It deals with that gravity point, and when it deals with that gravity point, it can also know for sure simply by having an idea of what that gravity point is about, that it deals with the gravity of situations, the gravity how it works in situations that are in need to make a small change. Then you don't need to make a war to make changes. No, the small changes, they matter. The small changes of how can we re-establish a balance with the elements that we have, with the elements that we know. If you don't know how the elements, discover all the elements so that you can make a balance. That's what is useful. This is not about chaos, about the freedom that we should have to have new ideas and no, the balance that you can receive is about what shall I insert as a new idea, so that not only I can do something with it, but everybody can do something with it. That's why this balance is needed. It's productive. Ri is productive in that way. It deals with the gravity of the balance of the things that are there. But you have to look, of course, what do we have? What do we have all of elements? With me, what do I recognize? Am I able to recognize everything? Only when you have me, you can also have ri. Okay, so just besides. But okay, I hope you understand the conclusive ri at the end, where you have the sense of gravity, of the sense of reality, that makes it applicable so that you can insert it as a new idea, and then the productiveness of it is guaranteed. Okay, thanks again for watching. This was Gerald Tuanvermaas. There's a website, soundinformed.com. There are some books if you want to have some extra guidance and extra corners to watch the same thing in a totally different way. You can go into that maze and try not to get lost. But I also have these videos, of course, to make it, I hope also to make it more easy to understand what is playing along with vowels, consonants, combinations of vowels and consonants, how we tend to use them as reference point that brings us into a certain balance, so that these combinations of letters are also meaningful. And I know they are meaningful, and I know also the method to discover it. It's not always easy to explain them, but I hope these videos are a contribution to that. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.